Hello and welcome back to Bookish. Today I wanted to make a response video to a video made by Steve Donoghue, and I'm responding to Steve's 10 tips for booktubing video, which came out either last weekend or maybe it was Sunday of this week. Steve loves to make response videos to other people's videos, and so I thought I would make one to Steve's because while I agreed with a whole lot of the things he had to say about tips for booktubing, there were some places where he and I definitely disagree, and I wanted to kind of talk about those and offer, perhaps an alternative point of view to Steve. So first, you should know Steve has a pretty good list. Steve has a large channel. He obviously knows something about what he's doing, and he's always worth listening to on his advice in this area and in other areas. I think he's worth listening to, so I'd encourage you to go check out the video. Obviously, there'll be a link down below. Second, no matter who gives you tips about how to booktube or how to YouTube in general, you should know what they're really telling you is how they do it. If you look at Steve's tips, these are basically things that Steve does. Obviously, he's telling you some do's and don'ts. He's going to think the things that he does are do's. And some of the things that he doesn't do are don'ts. And the same thing would be true for me. I made one of these videos, I don't know, a year or two ago maybe. If I can find it, I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. And it's always going to be what we think as the booktuber in question is the right approach. So that's something to keep in mind. You could probably avoid watching any of these tips for how to do booktube simply by finding your favorite booktuber and watching how they do it. And if there's something unclear, try to contact them directly. Because if you have a favorite booktube channel, in some ways you may want to do kind of what those people are doing. The other thing I'll say before I get to Steve's tips is, even though Steve and I disagree about a number of things, oftentimes quite vociferously, even though that's true, Steve and I are friends, and I am not making this video to give you an opportunity to dump on Steve in the comments. I'm always happy to see all comments and to respond to all those comments, but this is not an invitation for you to dump on Steve. If you want to dump on Steve, go over to his channel and dump on him directly and see what that gets you. That would be my advice. So going through Steve's tips. Steve's tip number 10, and he lists them in ascending order of importance. So number 10, he says start for the right reasons. So I would amend this a little bit. I know what Steve means, I think, but what I would say is, instead of saying start for the right reasons, I would say know what you want from your channel before you start. Do you just want a place where you and a few people who have the same taste as you can discuss books in the comments, a way you can connect to a very specific group of people? That's different than wanting to create a channel which reaches a lot of people. Are wanting to create a channel because you'll enjoy it growing and getting to contact more and more people and creating a channel so that you're exposed to new books and new ideas and new people. There are all kinds of different reasons for starting a booktube channel, and what I would say is the most important thing is not the reason you start, but to know what you want from it and to review what you want from your channel from time to time as you go on to see if you're getting what you want from your channel. So Steve has a whole lot of things he says are the wrong reason to start. One reason he says not to start, he says the bad reason to start is to make money. I'm not going to say that. I'll say that whatever your reason for starting is, just know what you want from it and understand what it's going to take to achieve those things. I think that's far more important to making you happy. There are a lot of people on here, a lot of people whose channels I follow who seem to be, and as far as I know, are perfectly content with comparatively small channels because they like the interaction with very specific people. They like making the videos they make, and they don't feel pressure to make their channel bigger or to reach out to larger groups, and that's all fine. Whatever your reason for booktubing is completely your business, as long as you know what it is and as long as you can get that from it. And to be honest with you, if you can't make the thing you want to have happen from your channel, there's also nothing wrong with just choosing not to keep making YouTube videos. Most of these videos, by the way, about tips like this one and mine, and my response, is that we're really telling you how to make your booktube channel more successful, because you can start it without any of these tips. These are really kind of things about making more successful. So tip number 9 from Steve was consider how you're going to booktube, and I believe this is the one where he's just talking about the importance of planning. And I think planning is important. But my response to this idea that planning is really important is kind of meh, because I think you can plan too much, you can try to be too specific about what you want to do and what you expect and the reaction you expect to get, and then kind of be disappointed when that doesn't happen, and that can cause you to maybe give up faster than you would have ordinarily. My response to plan is that yes, plan how you're going to make BookTube work for you, but be flexible. In the beginning, you might be really enthusiastic and say, okay, well, I'm going to do 3 videos a week, and I'm going to set aside this time to do them. And then you find that that really is adding stress. There's no shame in changing that. There's no shame in going to 1 video a week or 1 video a month. Again, you should be trying to get from YouTube the thing that you want. Interaction, comments, connection to people, involvement in the community, money, whatever it is you're after, that's what you should be focusing on. So planning, I think, is important, because I do think having a plan going in is important, as long as you don't use that plan to then kind of beat yourself up if things don't go according to that plan. Tip 8 is consider your presentation. Steve, as if you've seen Steve's channel, Steve has a tendency to kind of go off on tangents. And he starts off by saying, pay attention to what's in your background. Are there going to be people walking by occasionally? That happens in my videos. Are the dogs going to come running in? That happens quite a lot in my videos. Do I have a pile of junk in the back? Yes. Is there something back there distracting from watching me? Well, I don't think that's nearly as important as Steve does. But what I would say is having a background that has some level of interest, some level of depth, or something else to look at other than me, particularly in my case, is probably a good thing. And not having something back there that's going to make me think all the time, what is that thing, that stuffed animal on the shelf back there? It's a hippo, by the way. That maybe those kind of things are things to think about. It talks about the style of your engagement. I think we're all kind of different. He has a lot of very pointed things to say about kind of the bored approach that some people take to BookTube or to other things, where they act like they don't care. And I have a tendency to agree. If you act like you don't care about the video you're making, I probably don't care about what you're saying. All kinds of specific things about not drinking soda or not eating a sandwich or whatever. All I'm going to say about any of that kind of stuff is that I'm an old guy, unlike Steve, who is 28 years old. Unlike Steve, I'm 55, and I would just say, as an older person, I oftentimes find that young people do things that I don't understand, but that doesn't necessarily make them wrong just because I don't understand them. And since I am a member of the Generation X, which made Donald Trump famous and which still makes up the largest share of his base, I'm probably not in a position to lecture anybody younger than me about, the right way to approach, well, anything. So I'm not going to lecture younger generations about having bad manners and things like that. That I think is really up to you, and you're going to see the results, based on, how many people are watching your videos and things like that, if you care. His tip number 7 was consider your tech, and he made a really solid point. We need to be able to see you relatively clearly and to hear you relatively clearly. Almost everybody's phone, which I'll just call a smartphone, which I think dates me. Almost everybody's phone has a perfectly serviceable camera and microphone situation. All I would suggest is that you spend a little bit of money buying a tripod of some kind. It just makes life easier. But that's really all you need to film on. You can do that with a tablet. Some people do that with their computer. People use their phone. I use a GoPro. You can use all kinds of things, but do make sure that you can be seen and heard. I do think that's important. And I'll kind of come back to this, I think, this issue of technology again, when I give my response to tip 5. Steve's number 6 tip is consider your props. Hold the book up. That's good advice. You definitely want to hold the book up long enough where people can see it and where they can read the title and get an idea of the cover. There aren't a whole lot of other books, a whole lot of other props in BookTube, but definitely, you want to hold your books up where they can be seen. And then 5, he says, you need to make sure you're doing some prep work. And I agree with this. Not for the same reason that he agrees, which I'll get to again later on in this point. But having that prep work done, having kind of an idea of what you want to say, having the books that you want to show, on hand and nearby, so you don't have to get up and interrupt yourself. Knowing the names of the characters and the author, the translator ahead of time. Those are all good things, because not knowing those things are going to force you to pause and wait, or to go on and look like you don't know. Now, I will say, at the age of 55, I can be quite forgetful about the names of characters and things like that. It happens to me all the time. But a little prep work will go a long way. You don't have to have a full script that you read out, even though some people definitely do that. But some preparation is going to make your videos better. And the other thing, and this would be where I would add on to all of Steve's points: 7, consider your text; 6, consider your prop; and 5, a little prep work, would be to also to embrace the idea of doing post-video editing, doing the post work. Editing your videos is such a valuable thing for you. Now, Steve just gets on, turns his phone or his tablet on, and he talks. And when he's done, he pushes stop, and then he uploads. That's fine for Steve. That works for Steve. But for me, I like to be able to take out the pauses. I like to be able to edit out the times when the dog barks, or when my wife answers the phone and it's really loud, or when I sneeze, or things like that. Just as Steve doesn't enjoy seeing necessarily people take a drink of soda or coffee or eat something, I don't think you'd enjoy seeing me or anybody else sneeze or blow my nose or wipe my nose and make a squishy noise in my nose. And so you can edit those things out. And, if you don't download some editing software, some of which is available for free at a really basic level, and you don't edit, then I think you're going to find out that you're really frustrated with the video making process. Because if something like that happens, if I were to sneeze, and I didn't edit, if I were to sneeze really big in this video, then my choice is either to leave the sneeze in and subject you all to the face I make and the spray that flies out when I sneeze, or to just shoot the video all over again. And that having to shoot videos all over again is what I think is the #1 thing that frustrates people and causes them to quit YouTube. That they've gone to all this trouble, they've made this video, they've scripted it all out, and then something goes wrong and they don't know how to edit. Well, editing can actually be quite fun, quite enjoyable. I don't edit my videos a lot. I don't put a lot of fancy stuff in my videos. I do from time to time. But those things can be really satisfying and fun, and you are learning a new skill. So I would definitely encourage you to edit your videos. I think that's a good way to make sure you're putting out the video you want to put out, and then you don't have to be perfect while the camera's rolling. You can stop and pause, as I am sometimes when I'm looking at my notes that I made for this video. Sometimes I pause and read what I wrote, and then I just edit out the pause. And you don't have to wait for me to, finish reading what I wrote. His point #4 is a great point. He said, be yourself. I absolutely agree with that. Whoever you are, you're going to find people who like you on YouTube, I'm guessing, on BookTube. People who are interested in what you have to say. Being yourself is the #1 way, I think, to be satisfied with your BookTube channel and your BookTube experience. Because if you're always pretending to be somebody else, that's going to get tiring and it's stressful, and I would just avoid that. His prompt #3 is the prompt where, not surprisingly, and he already knew this going in when I told him to make this video, where he and I differ the most. And he says don't monetize your channel. I just firmly disagree. I don't really think it's anybody's business whether or not I monetize my channel or anybody else monetizes their channel. My channel is monetized. I monetized it as soon as I could. I think it was about 14 months when I hit the qualification for monetization, and I did it. And I didn't really think twice about it, and I didn't think, I haven't thought all that hard about it since then. As Steve mentioned in his video, I am one of those people who will tell you that I give the money I make from YouTube to charity. Now, he mentioned that, if I'm really that committed to charity, then I should just give money to charity. He's operating on an assumption that the only money I give to charity is my YouTube money, which is not true. Notice how the YouTube money is more money, plus the money I was giving to charity is more money going to charity. Because this was money I wouldn't have had without YouTube. So yes, I give money to charities anyway, but YouTube allows me to give more money to charities, and I'm not doing that to be a hero, and unlike what Steve seems to imply, I'm not telling you that to make you feel guilty. I'm telling you that because that's what I do with the money, and it makes me happy. And again, I don't know if you picked up on this, but my theme about how to booktube is to booktube in a way that makes you happy. So, that's what I do. I don't think that makes me better than anybody else. I don't think that makes me worse than anybody else. I don't think that makes me, less honest in the way I deal with people. If some foot cream ad runs before my video about my TBR video, I don't see how that affects anything I say in my TBR video, but if you do, then that's fine. I see nothing wrong with monetizing for any reason, just as I see nothing wrong with authors who have YouTube channels using their channel to promote their books, nor like anybody who writes for any publication using their channel to promote or encourage people to subscribe to that publication. I don't see anything wrong with that either. So I don't see anything wrong with you or anybody subscribing to a channel. Will there be some people who don't watch your videos because they're monetizing their ads? There absolutely will. But I got news for you. There are lots of people who are going to find all kinds of reasons not to watch your video. Your accent, how many times you say I've had people tell me in the comment section they can't watch my videos because I say a lot. Fair enough. Fine. You don't have to watch my videos. I'm perfectly okay with that. And if people don't watch because of monetization, then that's fine. They're going to find reasons to not watch. I have some other thoughts though, and this has more to do with just kind of philosophical thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and share them here with you real quickly. I'm not going to judge you for monetizing because I'm not going to assume or presume that I know your financial situation or what you're using that money for. If you're using the money to supplement your income, no matter how small that is, great, good for you. That's more money for you. I have no problem with that. If you're using that money to defray the cost of making BookTube videos so you can get a microphone or so you can get a better camera because that makes you a happier BookTuber, then I think that's great. If you're giving the money to charity, I think that's great. If you just like having the money as a sign of like success, I think that's great. I'm not going to presume to know your financial situation or how much whatever amount of money you might make from BookTube makes. The other thing to keep in mind is that YouTube is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and that corporation makes money because people put videos on their platform. YouTube makes money because we make videos. There are all kinds of ways they can do that. Number one, whether you know this or not, they can put ads on your video whether you're monetized or not. I don't know how they decide which videos to do that for, but they do. And so I've seen ads for people who I know their channel isn't quite at the level of monetization and their ads on it. YouTube did that. They're making money off your videos anyway. Monetization just gives you, as the creator, some control over what kind of ads, where they are, how long they are they skippable, etc. You get more control that way. Now, YouTube did go back and change the rule about old videos, and they monetized like lots of old videos, and they just put video advertisements wherever they wanted to. I find that frustrating, and when I find out that's happened, I try to go back and change the monetization on those videos. The other thing to keep in mind is that when somebody watches your video, they get a list of suggested other videos. And a lot of those suggested other videos in the YouTube algorithm are actually videos that have advertisements that have been monetized. So in a sense, your video is an advertisement for a video that is monetized. You can't escape the process of helping YouTube make money. They're going to make money whether you're monetized or not. Even the fact, in addition to that, your videos are searchable through Google. A lot of people find my videos, and if you look at your analytics, you can see where the source of your viewers comes from. Find my videos through YouTube search, through Google searches, which brings them to YouTube. The more people on the platform, the more advertising dollars YouTube can charge, and they're making money. Monetization is not going to bring you a tremendous amount of money probably, but at the very least you're getting some of the money that YouTube is making. And then finally, I just say kind of philosophically, planning, scripting, shooting, editing, uploading videos is work. I enjoy it, but it's still work, and I try not to work for multi-billion-dollar corporations for free. So even if it's only $3 a video that I end up making, well, that's fine. I accept the terms of service, and I appreciate getting the $3, but at least I feel like I'm not working for free. But the reality is that most BookTube channels and lots of BookTube channels aren't going to be monetized. To get monetized, right now the rules say you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to have 4,000 watch hours every year. Which means that what I found is that it's very rare for a BookTube channel to be able to monetize after a year, and to get that 4,000 watch hours, you're probably going to have to be turning out 2 or 3 or more videos a week, which means it is a lot to reach that level of monetization. And YouTube can change the rules there wherever they want to. I make probably, I think on my channel, I make between $350 and $475 a year. That's what I make off my YouTube channel, and like I said, I enjoy what I do with that money. His point number 2 was engage with community. Absolutely. The more you engage with the community, the happier you're going to be. There's a great community of BookTube, of video makers and commenters in this part of BookTube who will support your channel, enjoy your content, and interacting with them is great. Answer your comments. Watch other people's videos and comment on their videos. If you're not watching other people's videos, then you're missing out on a lot of what's good about BookTube, and you're also kind of limiting how many people are going to come watch your videos. It's not like a one-for-one, sub-for-sub thing, but you know, people do appreciate and are more likely to click on more likely to find your channel if you comment on theirs. You know, even if you feel like, oh, I'll never do tags, or I don't want to do all these read-alongs, even if that's true, let me encourage you to try that out. You know, to do some of the community things. You might find it's a lot more fun and rewarding than you think, and you'll get to meet a lot of great new people, and that's great. Steve's tip number 1 is just do it. I would say just do it, but only if you really want to. The truth of the matter is you can be a member of the big BookTube community without making any videos. There are a large number of commenters who watch a lot of videos, and they comment and they interact with booktubers, and they interact with one another, and they join in on read-alongs and buddy reads, and they haven't made a single video. They are incredibly valuable and full members of this community, even though they never made a video. So, you know, you don't have to make videos to be a part of the BookTube community. And you should only make videos if you think you really want to. And if you think you really want to, and you try it out, and you make a couple of videos, you don't like it, just stop making videos. You know, until you hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, nobody's going to be paying you for it anyway. So do it however you want to. And so there you go. There's my response to Steve's 10 tips for booktubing video. I encourage you to go check out Steve's video, and look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And thank you for watching.